Senate Republicans and House Democrats visiting the same border today, but with very different messages.
Here's the bottom line. The Border Patrol and Health and Human Services and the non-governmental organizations that are struggling to deal with this flood of humanity tell us they cannot get ahead of this flood of humanity without policy changes in Washington, D.C.
We're glad to see that the administration, the Biden administration, is building up the capacity to handle the kids who have presented themselves for asylum.
NBC News correspondent Jacob Soboroff joining me now. Jacob, you have been to the Rio Grande, where Senate Republicans are today. What stands out about what you saw and heard from their visit today?
Allison, that the Republican senators toured, launching from Onslow Lewis Park in Mission, Texas, the Rio Grande in a gunboat with machine guns, occupied or guided, I should say, by the Texas Department. You're looking at it right there for public safety. I've been on that dock. Yep. I've stood next to those boats. I've looked at them closely. Those boats are meant for interdicting drug smuggling and, dangerous people, cartel members, perhaps, that might be on the other side of the river, not asylum-seeking children. And the idea that they would go in a show of force almost up to take a look at what really is a humanitarian crisis inside Border Patrol facilities specifically, because they don't have enough space to take the children and put them with child welfare professionals and health and human services, and do it kind of looking like this. It is baffling, honestly, and it's not where they're going to find their solution. You're not going to scare people away from coming to this country. You've heard me say that before. It didn't work under Obama. It didn't work under Trump, certainly, who tried the harshest tactics of any president with family separations. And it's not going to work during the Biden administration, even if you have 19 Republican senators on a gunboat.
Yeah, Jacob, you bring up some really important points about the optics there, as we were showing the Army fatigues, the rifles there, certainly sends a certain type of message. Let me ask you about something we're learning about today. A 9-year-old child from Mexico died trying to cross the Rio Grande. A mother and her 3-year-old rescued. Just horrible to hear. I mean, we're talking about mothers, children, families. What else do you know about what happened there?
Well, what I can tell you is, sadly, it is not surprising that migrants attempting to enter the United States die along their journey, whether it's in the Rio Grande or in the desert of Arizona or in the brush of Falfurrias, Texas, north of where those senators are today. It's built into American immigration policy. It's called prevention through deterrence. The idea that you can force migrants to cross in what has specifically been referred to as hostile terrain in U.S. government Border Patrol documents in 1994. And this is the way, unfortunately, the immigration enforcement system along the border is set up to work, to funnel people coming here into places where it's dangerous or deadly to cross so that they would think twice about doing so. But it doesn't stop people. Just as I just said, whether it's tough talk from politicians or a border wall or a river, it's not going to stop people who are coming here because of desperate circumstances. And this, latest horrific tragedy of a child losing their life is sadly another example, and there's a human story behind it.
Jacob, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki saying the administration is working on opening new facilities to house migrant children. Here she is at the Daily Briefing.
One of our biggest issues, as we've talked about before, is moving these kids out of the Border Patrol facilities into the shelters. And we need to have places that are safe, that have educational resources, health resources, mental health resources, legal resources. This is a step toward doing that.
Jacob, that's just one part of this, but how else can we get these kids out of CBP custody as fast as possible? What else needs to happen here?
I think Jen Psaki is right there to get children into, as mandated under the law, the care and custody of Health and Human Services within 72 hours once they arrive in this country. There are very valid questions raised about whether or not these temporary influx shelters, like the ones you're looking at in the pictures there when Gabe Gutierrez toured Carrizo Springs earlier this week, because they're big, they're impersonal, the level of staffing and the oversight is different from the more permanent shelters, but they just simply don't have the space at this time because of the number of kids, the unprecedented number of kids, let's be honest here, coming into the country at the beginning of the Biden administration. And so what Jen Psaki said is right. It's a matter now of logistically being able to stand up those types of facilities and make sure, advocates will tell you that they have the protections for the children in place so that, you don't see things happening to them that shouldn't be in the care and custody of the United States government.
Yeah. Overwhelming numbers and some tough logistics to work out there for sure. Jacob Soboroff, we always love having you on. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Good to be with you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.